Simon Whitlock on stage for the third match of the day, day 2 of the Peperami Gibraltar darts. And Simon Whitlock, a man with plenty on his CV, a World Championship finalist in 2010, a European champion 4 years ago, and a European Tour winner too, having claimed the Dutch Darts Masters in 2012. But he's up against one of the most dangerous of the UK qualifiers, Gerwyn Price, a man who whitewashed David Francis, the Gibraltarian, 6-0 yesterday. One of 2 whitewashes we witnessed on day 1, the other coming from Justin Pipe in his match with Jamie Lewis. Whitlock back in the top 16 on the Pro Tour Order of Merit, qualifying automatically. But looking here, as though he could be under a great deal of pressure against a man who is, again, really catching the eye on the European circuit. Dan Dawson alongside me for this one.
Yeah, well, we know how good Simon Whitlock is. He's proved it time and time again. He has had tough time.
Gentlemen, first leg, Simon to throw first. Game on!
Yeah, he's had a tough time of it in the big TV tournaments for a little while now, but his form away from the TV cameras has still been pretty impressive. In terms of Gerwyn Price, I'll hold my hands up. I'm not sure how good he is. Not sure how good he can be. I think we're going to find out over the next couple of years, though, because he looks very, very capable.
Well, he claimed his maiden Players' Championship victory in Barnsley last Sunday, beat Peter Wright 6-3 in the final. Quarter-finalist here last year as well, Gerwyn Price. He beat Simon Whitlock en route to the last 8. He beat the Wizard 6-2 in the last 16.
Yeah, one of 2 meetings they've had, and both have been won by the Iceman as he fires in the first maximum. Now, he was, I'll be honest, not great against David Francis yesterday, but he didn't need to be.
17.
He averaged 77 and won 6-0. 2 of those legs were won on double 2. It was a bit lazy.
A bit scratchy.
Yeah, it was a game played by a man who knew he was going to win and didn't think he'd have any problems. And in the end, he was right. But if you play those games, occasionally, you're going to get upset.
Going to require 60.
Had it been, say, George Federico he was up against,
then who knows what would have happened.
Ooh, missed opportunity for Gerwyn Price. Whitlock is looking at 124 to hold his throw in this opening leg.
Mervyn King took out the 1-2-4 to finish off Christian Kist in the second match of the day here, the last match on stage.
63.
Whitlock does not do likewise.
20.
So 3 cracks at double 10 here for an early break. The break of throw in the very first leg, and Gerwyn Price is off and running in this second round match at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Gerwyn Price's maiden PDC title coming in the most recent last Sunday. Most recent Players' Championship event. But we've seen flashes of what he's able to do elsewhere as well. The quarterfinals of the match play, he made it too as Whitlock fills it up for a first maximum of his own. We've seen him on the European Tour go on little runs here and there.
83.
Yeah, his best performance in Europe on the European Tour was the run to the last 8 in Gibraltar a little over 12 months ago, 14 months ago or so.
Now Simon Whitlock. Simon Whitlock has fired in 6 consecutive treble 20s. Now we saw Max Hopp go 7 darts into the 9-darter yesterday. He missed the 8th. Will we see here in Gibraltar another perfect leg? We saw one 3 years ago. That's the last time anybody hit a perfect leg on the European Tour. Simon Whitlock, 141 needed, doesn't get the 7th dart. And will we ever see one?
57.
Well, he gets a smattering of applause. But Whitlock, nevertheless, looking good to break back here and level things up at 1 apiece. Price still on 2.75, so room for manoeuvre here for Simon Whitlock if he doesn't make it at this particular visit, but he might well do. Tops he wants.
64.
I quite like that shot, first dart at the bullseye. If he hit the ball, then it leaves him 34, which isn't anybody's, well, not everybody's favourite double. But Whitlock doesn't mind what double he leaves because he practices them all. He's a big fan of hitting weird doubles when necessary. But the thing is, it did guarantee himself a dart at double top there, rather than a dart at the bullseye. And in the end, wow, I thought he was going to pass up the opportunity despite getting 4 darts at double. But the fourth one finds its mark and Whitlock levels things up.
Yeah, Price was semi-threatening there, waiting in the wings on 170, but Whitlock takes out the double 10. Mentioned that dip out of the top 16 in the Pro Tour Order of Merit, much in the way that Mervyn King did. So Whitlock had to go through qualifying for the first 2 European events this year. He lost in qualifying for Munich to Mick McGowan. Did make it to Venray, where he was beaten 6-3 by Mensur Sulovic in the quarterfinals, having beaten Ian White and Jelle Klaassen as well. So he had a mini good run in Holland, did Whitlock earlier this year.
He's good at winning quarterfinals, is Mensur. Not so good at semis. Very good at quarterfinals.
We'll see Mensur later today.
We will.
The winner of this faces either Peter Wright or Darryl Gurney. That will be some tussle later on as well. Terry Jenkins and Joe Mernon on stage next too for you.
Well, Gerwyn Price has had a number of meetings with Peter Wright. You know, he won against Peter Wright in the final last weekend to win his first title. He was 3-0 down and won 6-3. Peter Wright is one of the guys who Gerwyn faced in his 2 appearances at the World Championship. Both very disappointing. He come into those as a dangerous player, you know, one of those dangerous floaters, if you like, one of the guys outside the top 32 who nobody's, you know, they're looking around going, oh, I could get an easier draw than getting pitted against that guy. And he's yet to win a set in 2 appearances at the World Championship. Gilding was the other man.
30.
Majestic Andrew Gilding.
Simon, you require 145.
145 for Whitlock. Got 6 darts at this to go into the lead for the first time in the match. Now he wants treble 20, so he just moves across the oche.
46.
That's not what you want to do, Simon. Left yourself 99. You need all 3 darts to finish that. If that had just fallen out the board, you could do 100 in 2 darts.
Yeah, it could make a big difference, that. And Price has chipped away at his 73 as well, so Whitlock will just have to watch his step hit. That's just about found the 10 for double 16. Almost went into the double 10, but...
Game shot,
and
the third
eventually
leg.
he got there
Simon Whitlock.
after that mini readjustment, and Whitlock does get his nose in front for the first time today.
Yeah, good finish that. And we've seen a bit of scoring from Simon Whitlock, you know, the 2 180s in the second leg. Good finish there from him. Just put that all together over the course of this match and come through this one, book his place in the last 16 and record his first win over Gerwyn Price 51. In the process. Gerwyn will have something to say about that, I can assure you. Whitlock playing in his specs. That's a relatively recent addition for Simon Whitlock. And that's just below the wire, the second one.
99.
Yeah, relatively recent addition. He was having some problems when he first started wearing them. He was having a peer over the top. They kept falling down his nose.
93.
I'm not sure if he's got some way of hooking them into his dreadlock at the back there, or just keeping them in place.
59.
Because he seemed rather surprised that when he was peering over the top of his specs, he didn't get the added benefit of being able to see better.
57.
Yeah, the specs could well be anchored in there.
Well, there's plenty to anchor them onto with Simon Whitlock.
140.
A man who has decided that a mullet, goatee, ponytail combo is the way to go, and stuck firmly with that as he fires in his 3rd maximum of the match.
That seems to be doing him the world of good. Down to a Shanghai finish here.
190.
Great setup from Gerwyn Price, leaves himself double 12. Will he get a poke at it? He might not. Keeps on moving over to the left, Whitlock. And finds the target. And 120 checkout. That's really, really impressive from Whitlock. Particularly with Price sat on 24 there. It is 3-1. And Whitlock is showing the kind of form that we've seen away from the TV cameras. Now, big TV games since the match play in 2014, he's lost 2/3 of them. He's won 4 out of... Well, sorry, no, he's lost 3/4 of them. He's lost 12 out of 16. Now, for a man of his calibre, that is, he's nowhere near good enough, and he knows that. But despite that, he has made a significant number of runs, 5 quarter-finals and a semi-final this year. At the Worlds, he was still confident. He got knocked out in the first round by Ricky Evans. Again, another game that you would have expected him to win. He had match darts to win it 3-0. He ended up losing it.
60.
But he said, I believe I am playing as well as ever, just as well as I was when I first made the switch over to the PDC. I made the World Championship final, only beaten by Phil Taylor.
57.
Yeah, and he said he believes he can be a top 8 player again and a world champion again.
Yeah,
And
it takes, it takes some resolve to keep that
45.
self-belief and confidence when you keep getting repeatedly knocked down on the biggest stages of all. Publicly, millions of people watching all over the world. He's Australia's top player. He's their big hope. There are other players. Obviously, Kyle Anderson's a good player, but he's got nowhere near the pedigree of Simon Whitlock. And he feels like he's let himself down and to an extent his country at times. And it must be very, very tough. But keeps picking himself back up. And he goes again. And he is getting rewards away from the TV cameras. And if that carries on, surely it's only going to be a matter of time before it turns for him on TV. There's no questioning his talent. He's superb.
59. Simon,
Well, he's taken out 99. He's taken out 120. 112.
well, he could well take this out as well, yeah. Tops he wants then.
Game Sean, the 5th leg.
The finishing of Simon Whitlock today has been pretty exemplary. And he leads 4-1. He consolidates again, and Gerwyn Price is really struggling here.
95.
Well, Mervyn King was really impressive in the last match. He saw off Christian Kiss 6-2. He averaged 105 in the end there, Merv. And Simon Whitlock has been
100.
similarly impressive. Particularly those last 3 legs. With the checkouts of 99, 120, 112. But it's 4 legs on the spinnies one now. And the second leg, he was on the 9 darter after 2 visits. Now you see 57%, 2-ton plus checkouts. 199.
Healthy checkout stats for Simon Whitlock. The average is just over 90 at this moment in time. Mervyn King averaging averaging bang on 105 in the second match of the day.
31.
Let's see. 93 average, but when Simon Whitlock has been given a chance, he's taken it, and he's looking at 130 now, and this would
94. Simon, you require 100.
just as good, if not better than the rest. Price on 120. Now that is awkward. Yeah, it was awkward. You could see
65. Going to
a bit
require
frustrated.
120.
Simon Whitlock there. Now Gerwyn Price. Can he make him pay? He might. Gerwyn Price to do to Whitlock what has just been done to him for the last 3 legs. And you can see the frustration from the former rugby player. Now Whitlock. 25 for tops. There's the 25. And there's the tops, and it is unerring stuff from the wizard. A 14 darter.
Game on.
Gerwyn Price has got problems here.
Well, there's lots to like about Whitlock and the way he's playing today, no doubt about it. Especially the way he's finishing off. 5 legs on the spin now.
99.
You see, left double 16 once, took that out. 3 darts at double 10, hit it last start, but that was all in 1 visit, so it's not as if he's presented an opportunity to go in Price there. He's come back to the board looking at 20, and he's taken it out.
140.
3 darts at double top, 1 for 120, 1 for 112, and 1 for 65.
Yeah, on this evidence, it could be a very good weekend for Simon Whitlock.
140.
You see, 15, 15, 14. They've all been breaks of throw. The 18 darters are holds of throw. So Gerwyn Price, I mean, it does mean that if Gerwyn Price had thrown 15 darters in any of those legs, he would have won them, and he hasn't. Gerwyn Price hasn't been on it today. This is better from him, though. Potentially 11 darter coming in, but unfortunately maybe too little too late for him, because he's got to win 5 consecutive legs against Simon Whitlock. And Whitlock's going to put him under pressure here, because that's a maximum for the Wizard. It's his 4th. And this has to go, Gerwin. It has to go. And it doesn't go, and that might be that. 44. And with his success on double top, I wouldn't be surprised if it is the Motown shot. 4 tops, but he goes 12 double 16. Oh, wow, now he presents an opportunity to Gerwin Price.
Can't afford to pass this one up. Double 12 he wants to trim the deficit to 5-2. He's only got one more dart in hand. And he doesn't take the opportunity, and Whitlock will return here for 3 cracks at double 8 for a place in the 3rd round tomorrow.
And it's another leg that Gerwin Price would have won with a 15 darter, and he's not been able to find him in the last 6 legs. He led 1-0, the Welshman. He's got done 6-1, and the Wizard, the number 15 seed, finds himself in the last 16, the final day of action tomorrow. The Australian records his first win over Gerwin Price in competitive darts, and he will face either Daryl Gurney or Peter Wright. Those two face off tonight in one of the ties of the 2nd round. Got a decent one coming up for you now as well. It's a former finalist here. Last year's beaten finalist Terry the Bull Jenkins, the number 10 seed, as he takes on Shaggy Joe Murnan.